מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד. Behold how good and how pleasant it is for all to dwell together. Behold how good and how pleasant it is for all to dwell together in unity. Hinei Ma Tov, la 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 la. In unity, Hinei Ma Tov, la 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 la.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. I'm Rabbi Barry Silver. Welcome to our celebration of Shabbat and of Father's Day. We're going to celebrate not only Shabbat, but the joy that we experience from our fathers, and hopefully the learning and wisdom as well. Good fathers impose discipline upon their children and coerce them to do the right thing, but great fathers inspire their children by their example and teach them to want to do the right thing, not because of some kind of reward or punishment, but because of the intrinsic thrill they get from being a good person. In a similar way, good fathers teach their children to try to do things like they did, to do things the right way like they did. Great fathers try to get their children to learn from what they did and take that one step further, to stand on their shoulders and accomplish something even greater than their fathers were able to do in a long progression throughout history of accomplishment, achievement, and of progress. And so today, Va-Dor celebrates a type of Judaism that transcends anything that our parents and grandparents could have understood, because it takes the revelations of science and unites them with the great revelations of Jewish history, tradition, and ideals. I call it cosmic Judaism. It was envisioned by Albert Einstein, who said that religion should go from the tribal to the cosmic, in which our view goes from the narrow-minded to the tribal, or even our own religion or nation, and instead embraces all humanity, all living things, and the entire cosmos. In order to help us celebrate this wonderful Father's Day and Shabbat, we give thanks to Myra and Paul Ehrman, who are sponsoring the Shabbat in honor of their grandchildren, Dahlia and Eli Steiner. It was my pleasure to officiate at that baby naming, and you might be able to catch a little bit of it later on in the Shabbat celebration. And the candle lighting and the Kiddush will be led for us by our sponsors, Myra and Paul Ehrman. And at the end of the celebration, in honor of Father's Day, you will see the happy father and mother, Oleg and Enya, who will lead us in the Motzi. And now, let the celebration begin.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. The idea of Shabbat is to take a break from ordinary life and focus on family, community, and spiritual growth. Shabbat's arrival on Friday night, just before sundown, is marked with a special candle lighting ceremony. Shabbat candles have long been the symbol of Shabbat.
The light of the Sabbath candles is perceived as a critical part of creating Oneg Shabbat, an enjoyable Shabbat atmosphere. The burning Shabbat candles ensure Shabbat Bayit, peace in the home for the Sabbath evening. There is a special soothing feeling when watching the flickering flames of the candles cast playful shadows as they add a glow of sanctity to the Shabbat setting. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'ma'otav v'tzivanu lechad likneh shel Shabbat. Amen.
Shabbat
Shalom. Have a
everyone.
great evening. All Jewish celebrations, from holidays to weddings, include wine as a symbol of our joy, and Shabbat is no exception. The Kiddush, which means sanctification, marks Shabbat as a sacred time. We recite the blessing before sipping the wine, which is sweet, making our holiday of Shabbat just a little bit sweeter.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei pri hagafen.
Amen.
Amen.
All the best to everybody.
Have a great week.
A rational view towards religion does not presuppose that there's a supernatural being telling us what to do, who we have to try to propitiate ourselves before in order to get blessings. No, rather, prayer serves a different purpose in cosmic Judaism. The purpose of prayer is to reflect the collective will and conscience and the consciousness of the Jewish community, and also expresses our desire for what we hope the world will become. That's what we spend our Shabbat doing, dreaming of a better future. And so we gather together in prayer in order to express our deepest felt hopes for the future, our commitment to Jewish ideals, and our unity with all people, not only of the Jewish tradition, but all people of goodwill, to try to make a reality out of the hopes and dreams that we have expressed in our prayers. And so I hope with this in mind, we will think of these prayers not as a petition to God that He should do something, but as an inspiration to all of us that we should do something to improve the caliber of our lives and of the world.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kavod, Shem Kavod, Malchuto, Leolam, Leolam Vayed.
If you're lost, you feel afraid, and you don't know what to say, then listen to our God. Is there a question on your mind? Is the answer hard to find? Then listen to our God. Listen with all your heart and soul, and with all of your might. Write them and learn them and teach them well, every morning and night. Close your eyes and listen.
Lach to a place that I will show you. Lach to a place you do not know. Lach on your journey I will show you. And you shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. Lach Lach, and I shall make your name great. Lach, and I shall praise your name. Lach, to the place that I will show you. L'simchat Chaim, l'simchat Chaim, l'simchat Chaim.
Adonai S'fatai tiftach, ufi yagid tehilatecha. Open up our lips to speak words that are true. Open up our souls to let our love shine through. Open up our hearts that we may feel our pain as we now rise to praise your name. Adonai S'fatai tiftach, ufi yagid tehilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor ve'hanora, אל העליון, גומל חסדים טובים וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן. ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה.
Here on my tie, I have a picture of my children in honor of Father's Day, Ari and Brandon. Why do I wear this tie? Because I believe in family ties. And I think it's great that we should take a moment of silence on this occasion on Father's Day to give thanks and to share in the wonderful memories of our fathers, all the joy we experienced from them, the learning, the wisdom, the fun that we had with our fathers. And let us also give thanks, if we are fortunate enough to be parents, for all the wonderful, incredible satisfaction and nachas and enjoyment that we receive from our children, the gift of being a parent. And we men should also give thanks to our wives for bearing children and for doing so much in order to allow us to have the great honor and the privilege and the joy of fatherhood. Let us spend a few moments of silent meditation, rejoicing in our blessings.
May the source of strength, oh bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our life a blessing, and let us say, Amen. מקור הברכה לאבותינו. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say,
It is my hope that they will learn from all the different cultures to be a bridge among people of different languages and different cultures. I hope they'll grow up to learn some Russian, some Hebrew, some English, and many other things about their wonderful heritage. The reason we have a baby naming is to connect them with their heritage. And what is it that we hope that the two of them, Eli and Dahlia, will achieve as Jews? Well, we Jews are very small in number. There's not a whole lot of Jewish people in the world. We would amount to no more than a statistical error in the Chinese census. That's how small in number we are. but our influence on the world has been profound because we cling to ideals and values that the world desperately needs. The values of love, of faith, of trying to help people who are in need, of justice, of rahmanas, of compassion. These ideals are in very short supply, and the Jewish people have commanded to spread these values to the world, and there are not very many of us to do it. Therefore, when we have a Jewish child born, and now we have two, we celebrate, not only because these two children turned out healthy, not only because they increased the joy and the family of their parents, of Oleg and Enya, but because they are part of the mission of the Jewish people to bring light to the world and to be a force for goodness.
I, your mother's father, want to personally pass on to you 3 wishes from one generation to another. In Hebrew, Va-Dor, Va-Dor. I wish for you to find courage that can strengthen your shoulders to bear all the trials that life will throw at you, and the courage to pursue your dreams. I wish for you to find faith within your soul to not only make your dreams a reality, but through these dreams to change your world so that it is just a little better than that in which you entered. And finally, I wish for you to nourish the love within your heart and to cling to those who are near and dear. But equally as important, embrace with that love those in your life who are in need, for it is in love that you find real happiness. And so I send my love and hope I can embrace you soon.
Shemin tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, shemin tov, shemin tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, shemin tov, shemin tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, shemin tov, yehelanu, 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 ulecho Yisrael, yehelanu, yehelanu, ulecho Yisrael.
Baruch Shenatan Torah Torah, Baruch Shenatan Torah Torah, Le'amo Yisrael B'kedushato.
Baruch hu et Adonai hamavarach. Baruch Adonai hamavarach l'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. Our Torah reading this Shabbat is from a Sedra called Chukat. Once again, the people are grumbling to Moses. V'lo haya mayim le'edat v'yikahelu al Moshe v'al Aharon. The people had no water. And so they were complaining once again to Moses and Aaron. V'yariv ha'am im Moshe v'yomru. And they complained to Moses as follows. V'lo givanu b'gvar achinu livnei Adonai. If only we had been fortunate like our brothers before us to have died before we got to this God-forsaken place. V'lama hevetim et kahal Adonai el hamidbar hazeh lamut sham. Why did you take us to this horrible place in this wilderness in order to die there? Anachnu v'yochenu, not only us but also our cattle. Their cattle was so important that even their death was almost not even as important as the fact that their cattle were going to die as well. V'lama he'elitenu mimitzrayim lehevi otanu el hamakom hara hazeh. Why did you have to bring us out of Egypt in order to take us to this miserable, horrible place? lo makom zera v't'ana v'gefen v'rimon v'mayim en lishtot. There's no fruits, there's no seeds, there's no wine, there's no pomegranate, and we don't even have water to drink. Vayavo Moshe v'Aharon mipnei hakahal el petach ohel. Moses and Aaron came before the congregation at this tent of meeting. V'yiflu al pnehem, and they fell upon their faces. V'yiru chavod Adonai alehem, and just then the presence of God seemed to appear to them. V'yidaber Adonai el Moshe lemor, and God said to Moses, "Follows kach et hamiteh v'hakahal et ha'edah ata v'Aharon achecha," and he said to them, "Take your staff and gather the people together, you and Aaron your brother, v'tibaltem el hasela le'enehem, and speak to the rock before their eyes, v'natan memav, and it shall give forth its water, v'hotzeta lahem mayim min hasela, and you will be able to draw forth water from the rock, v'hishkit et ha'edah, in order to give drink to the congregation, ve'et bi'ram, and to their cattle. V'yikach Moshe et hamiteh milifnei Adonai ka'asher tzivehu, and he took his staff and appeared before the people of Israel as God had commanded. V'kehulu Moshe v'Aharon et ha'kahal al pnei hasela, and Moses and Aaron gathered the people at the front of this huge rock. Vayomer lehem shim'una, and Moses said to them uncharacteristically, apparently at this time he got frustrated and he was uncharacteristically angry at them, which usually doesn't happen. Vayachem Moshe et yado vayach et hasela, and he said to the people, he said, "Okay, you rabble-rousers, you malcontents, now watch what's going to happen. You want me to get water out of this rock? Okay, I will do it." And he struck the rock, b'matehu, with his staff, pa'amayim, twice, v'yitz'u mayim rabim, and great quantities of water came gushing forth, v'teshet ha'edah u'v'eram, in order to provide drink for the people and for their cattle. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu torah emet, v'chai olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. In this Torah reading Chukat, once again, we see the Jewish people complaining to Moses, and once again Moses gets so frustrated. And it's really hard to explain how the people, after all these miracles, would still complain, but still, don't we do that? Every time we put food in our mouth, isn't that a miracle? Every time that we go outside and see the sun shining, converting matter into energy so that we can have life on earth and warmth, and isn't this a miracle? Isn't everything we see around us, a tree, a child, becoming a parent, having children who are healthy, being children who are born healthy? Aren't these miracles? And so today we think of the people grumbling in the desert, and we think, not how could they do that, but how are we like that sometimes? Do we also suffer from the fact that miracles are going on every day all around us and we take them for granted? Or as my dad used to say, for grunted. We don't appreciate them. I, on this Father's Day, would just like to share a little bit of my dad's wisdom and some things that I learned from him. First of all, he taught me that this Torah passage in which Moses is chastised by God for striking the rock instead of speaking to it as God asked, indicates that the Torah thinks that nobody is perfect. What a minor transgression. God says, speak to the rock, and he strikes it out of anger. And for that, he can't get into the promised land after all he's done. But what's the Torah trying to teach us? That this story really happened? No. It's trying to teach us that we shouldn't idolize anyone. That even the greatest people have mistakes. Why is that important? because it reminds us when we think, oh, I'm not like Moses. I made mistakes. Maybe I have a speech impediment like he did. What the Torah is trying to tell us is that we can achieve great things. We can do wonderful things because even Moses wasn't perfect. And so we should never say, well, I'm not like Moses. I'm not perfect. That should never be an excuse. All of us can help others to get into the promised land, and all of us can be a blessing. All of us can leave our comfort zone as Moses left the palace in order to do something greater than just serve our own needs, but to serve the needs of others. That's what the passage is trying to tell us. There's also in this passage a story about a sacred cow. It's a brown cow. They slaughter the cow and they do grisly things to it in order to try to expiate their sins with God. Did this really happen? Is this really what we're supposed to do? To slaughter an animal and dip our fingers in its blood? Of course not. As my dad would say, the Torah is trying to tell us something not by the literal interpretation. What it's trying to say is that we should sacrifice our sacred cows. What sacred cows do we have today? Many of us use our political parties as sacred cows. Oh, I can't complain about my party. That would be disloyal. I can't complain about somebody else's party. That would be too argumentative. I can't complain about what's going on in politics. It's a waste of time. So these sacred cows just go on, and horrible things go on in the political world and nobody does anything. What about our government? Oh, I can't criticize our government. If our former president says that he believes Putin over all of these intelligence advisors, or if he leads an insurrection against the Capitol to try to take over the government because he doesn't like the results of the election, oh, I can't criticize that. That would be terrible. He's part of my political party. Oh, I can't do that. I might get somebody mad at me. Maybe I'll even lose a member of my congregation if I say that. My friends, as horrible as it is to lose a member of the congregation, which I consider to be a part of my family, I'd rather go through that terrible experience of losing a member than losing our message. I'd rather lose someone precious than lose our precious heritage. We have an obligation, all of us, to speak out and to challenge any sacred cows. But my friends, the most important sacred cow that we must challenge are those within ourselves, within our own personality. Oh, I can't make a difference. I'm just one person. Things that we think in our mind that limit us, that prevent us from achieving our full potential, that stop us from being a Moses who could help lead our people to the promised land. We have so many of them. I'm not good looking enough. I'm too old. I'm too tired. I'm retired now. I don't have the gift of eloquence. I don't have access to millions of people. I don't have enough money. I don't have enough stamina. I'm giving up. It's too difficult. So many excuses. I can't help my family. My family doesn't listen to me anymore. I can't patch things up with this person. We haven't spoken for years. All these sacred cows, each one of us has our own. So many things that we hold sacred. I can't challenge that. I can't change that. I can't do it differently. What the passage is trying to tell us is get rid of these sacred cows, and then you can open yourself up to be the person you want to be. Just want to share with you also some other things from my dad. He had so many incredible, wise comments, insightful comments, funny comments. I can't begin to capture all of them, especially with the time limitations imposed on me, but I'll just share with you a few. The biggest room is the room for improvement. Don't major in minors. Don't make a big deal over little things. Focus on what's important. Not if somebody says something about you don't like or the food's not right. Don't worry about the minors. Worry about what's important. If someone says something that you don't like, don't let it irritate you. Let it amuse you. Don't be upset about things that people say and do about you. What's the difference? It doesn't make any difference in the scheme of things. Just disregard it. 10 Keys to Happiness, my dad wrote in his book, What is Happiness? Here they are. Give something away each day with no strings attached. Do a kindness and forget it. Spend time with the aged and with the young. Look intently into the face of a baby. Laugh often. Give thanks for your blessings. Pray. Work with vim and vigor. Plan as though you will live forever. Live as though you didn't have much time left to live. He also said many people get and forget. Instead, we should give and forgive. Many, many people are able to say to others how we should live. I was fortunate to have a father who showed others how we should live. I hope that each one of us, whether we're fathers or grandfathers or children or whoever we are in the family cycle, will also be able to share with others and be an example to them. But I just want to share with you once again the best thing, probably the greatest of all his sayings that my dad said. Don't tell me why it can't be done. Show me how it can be done. He was indefatigable in breaking down barriers. The first rabbi in the Temple of Understanding that brought religions together. Among the first rabbis to do interfaith weddings to provide a Jewish ceremony for people who wanted to retain their Judaism. Someone who challenged the status quo in order to make it better. Don't tell me why it can't be done. Show me how it can be done. This, my friends, is the motto of the Jewish people, also expressed so well by Herzl, who predicted Israel, who said, Im tirtzu en zo agadah. If you will it, it is no dream. Let us remember the dreams of our fathers and of our grandfathers, and remember that we stand on their shoulders. If we will it, their dream becomes our dream, and then it is not a dream alone, it is also a reality. I wish you well. I wish you Shabbat Shalom, and I hope that we will make our Father's dreams come real in our lives. Shabbat Shalom.
Well, my dad was born just the other day. His folks had just arrived in the USA. Back in Eastern Europe, the Jews faced pogroms. They worked hard, but were just tossed crumbs, so they risked their lives to cross the sea, to raise a family in a land where they could be free. Well, my dad's in the cradle in the silver home, lavished with love and showered with shalom. His folks speak Romanian, Polish, and Russian, but they love their mama Lushan. In school, Sam excelled at every session, but America faced the Great Depression. He had a paper route and sold women's shoes, but what Sam was all about was serving the Jews. So before you knew it, this fine guy became a great rabbi. Yes, he became a rabbi. When he was in college, he sent money to his folks, acquiring knowledge and learning new jokes. He also learned to give a homily when he studied at HUC. During World War II, many lives were lost, and Jews suffered through the Holocaust. Sam could have stayed home, safe and warm, but instead he donned a uniform. Abroad he saw horrific scenes in the dangerous Philippines. Well, Sam was in the cradle of brutality, where violence was a daily reality. He returned home ready to devote his life towards the goal of ending strife. He tried to end all strife. Things were really bad and oh so wrong, but at least in Asia he learned to play ping pong. When the war ended, he returned to the States and spent 10 years going out on dates till he met someone special one Halloween and made Esther his queen. He's got kids in the cradle in Connecticut, displaying charm and etiquette. His kids had long hair and hated haircuts. It's amazing he didn't go nuts. My own sons were born just the other day. We called them Brandon and Aryeh. We have now learned after checking the data, this is the 16th time he's become a Zeta. And their progeny love their Zeta Sam, and they love their Bubba Graham. Yes, they love Sam and Bubba Graham. How lucky I am to be his lad and to call this guy my dad. I feel lucky to call him my dad.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כיי ארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
Now, my friends, it's time for the Kaddish. Many people think this is the sad part of the service. We remember people who are no longer with us, but actually, this is the time when we celebrate the life of our loved ones. And so on this Father's Day Shabbat, I wanted to share with you this article from the newspaper, which is about the celebration of my father's 65th anniversary of his ordination as a rabbi, which was celebrated by congregation Va-Dor. You can see my mom, my dad, my brothers, and we're all celebrating this amazing milestone. And so I wanted to share with you, before we recite the Kaddish, what the real purpose of the Kaddish is. The Kaddish is a time that we remember our loved ones, especially our parents and our grandparents and great sages of the past. Many people have speculated, especially famous historians, marveling at the survival of the Jewish people. Why? Why did the Jews survive thousands of years when more powerful empires who have come and gone have succumbed to their fate? What is it? I like to think that there are many reasons why. One of them is because we pass on our heritage from generation to generation. Each generation stands on the shoulders of the last, and we build up throughout the eons the wisdom, the inspiration, the motivation of all the others, and we are all tied together. And so as we recite the Kaddish, we remember that in Judaism, the 10 Commandments has as one of the most important, honor your father and your mother. Respect for parents is a hallmark of the Jewish tradition. On this Shabbat also, when we celebrate the baby naming of a new child sponsored by their grandparents. Why? Because the grandparents are going to influence this child, and this child will be inspired when they see this by their grandparents and their wonderful legacy. You know, they say that the best way to honor our parents or our loved ones or great people is not through our words alone, but through our action. And so we recite the Kaddish not as an end in itself, but rather as a motivation to try to live our lives in a way that our parents and grandparents would be proud of us. And therefore, we recite the Kaddish, remember our loved ones and our parents, our fathers on this Father's Day. Wouldn't it be remarkable if every person out there who's reciting the Kaddish not only said words to remember their fathers and their grandfathers, but actually committed to live a life that was consistent with all of their hopes and dreams for us? That's what we seek on this Father's Day Shabbat as we read the Kaddish. Yiskedal v'yiskadash shemei rabah, Bi'alma divrach ruseh v'yamlich malchuseh. V'chayachona v'yomechona v'chayedu chol beis Yisrael. V'agala v'zman kari v'imru amen. Yehi shmei rabba mivarach la'olam ulmei ulmaya. Yisbarach v'yistabach v'yisboar v'yischomam v'yisnaseh. V'yisadar v'yisalev v'yisalal shemei kedusha b'richu. Le'elam in kol brachasa v'shirasa. Tishbechasa v'nechamasa. Dam yachon b'yalma v'imru amen. Yehi shlam araba min shmaya v'chayim aleinu v'yakol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom v'imrumav. V'yaseh shalom aleinu v'yakol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the source of peace and comfort bring peace and comfort to all who mourn. And may we pay the greatest tribute that we can of all to our parents, our grandparents, and to our ancestors by continuing the fine, noble work that they did and doing our utmost to fulfill their hopes and dreams for us, for the Jewish tradition, and also for the world. Amen.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. We're so glad that you have joined with us for this wonderful celebration of Shabbat and Father's Day. We hope that you're enjoying our service, and we ask you to please share it with others. Get the word out about how special Congregation Va-Dor is and the Judaism that we offer that can appeal to everyone. No matter denomination, background, faith, or tradition, we offer a rational Judaism that is committed to uniting Judaism together as one in peace and harmony. Please join us for our weekly chat with two rabbis each Tuesday evening at 7 p.m. on Zoom. This is a time when we can dive into the upcoming Torah portion and learn more about this and other topics relevant to us all with the wisdom and views of two rabbis, our Rabbi Barry Silver and our guest, Orthodox Rabbi Zvi Khan. We guarantee it will be a time well spent for you. We hope to see you on Tuesday, June 22nd at 7 p.m. This Wednesday evening, June 23rd at 7 p.m. on Zoom, we'll offer our monthly Rabbi Sam Silver Controversial Issues series with Rabbi Barry and guests speaking on the topic of the new leadership of Israel and American politics. We're excited to share that we will be holding our in-person Shabbat services next Friday evening, June 25th at 7 p.m. in the Fellowship Hall at 101 North Seacrest Boulevard, Boynton Beach. This is a lovely location and easy access for those driving, and we will also offer carpooling. We hope to see you there. We will offer our more traditional Shabbat service on Saturday morning, June 26th at 10 a.m., led for us by cantorial soloist and educator Andrew Sussman. It's a musically, spiritually, and heartfelt service that you can enjoy on Zoom with us. Va-Dor is planning our beautiful and inspiring High Holy Day services. They will be held in the auditorium of the St. Aloysius High School, as we have done for many years in the past. This year, they will be better than ever, and we hope that you will join with us together to celebrate these special holidays. Guest tickets can be purchased from our website, ladorvador.org, or by mail. We also offer you to honor and remember your loved ones with our Yom Kippur Book of Remembrance. Become a part of our Va-Dor Mishpacha. Our affordable memberships include tickets for all of our High Holy Day services. We welcome you to join us tonight and each Friday evening for our Oneg Shabbat Zoom and Schmooze at 8 p.m. when we can listen to some beautiful music, songs, and enjoy discussion with one another. You can find the links for all of our programming on our ladorvador.org website and within our email newsletters. We hope to see you soon at one of our virtual programs, tonight for Zoom and Schmooze, or in person next Friday to celebrate Shabbat. We wish all the fathers, grandfathers, and great-grandfathers a very happy Father's Day this Sunday. Be well and Shabbat Shalom with love from Va-Dor.
Yivarecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May you be blessed and protected with good health. May the light of love and reason shine from you and shine upon you always. On this Father's Day, may you be lifted up by the love that you received from your parents in order to be a source of blessing and of peace. And I do want to thank everyone for joining us on this Shabbat and for watching with us, sharing this Shabbat video. I also want to thank you for rejoicing in our parents and celebrating Father's Day. I hope you'll return. I wish you a Shabbat Shalom, and I also wish you this. I wish for you that you may take all the love and all the inspiration and all the hopes and dreams that your father had for you and channel that into becoming the best possible version of you that the world has ever seen. Make this year the time that you actually bring into full realization all of your parents, your father and your mother, their hopes and dreams. In that way, you will be maximally fulfilled. You will be a blessing to yourself and a blessing to others and to this world, which is the goal of Shabbat and of Jewish living. Shabbat Shalom, and I hope to see you soon in the future, not just in cyberspace, but also in person. Amen. The blessing over the bread gives thanks for the miracle that energy from 93 million miles away is channeled by living things on earth and converted into food to eat. It's a miracle. All right, now give a piece to Dahlia.
Sim shalom, tova, uvracha, chen v'chesed v'rachamim aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael amecha. Grace and kindness, we will find this within us, within us. Those despairing, we're repairing the world with love. Those in crisis, paying prices, we see you, we see you, we see you. Silenced voices without choices, we hear your cries. Shalom, tova, vracha, hein v'chesed rachamim aleinu, v'yal kol Yisrael necha. Torah chayim ve'avat chesed u'tzedaka u'veracha verachamim v'chayim v'shalom v'tov beinecha levarech et amcha Yisrael, Yisrael bechol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. שים שלום, טובה, וברכה, חן וחסד ורחמים עלינו, ועל כל ישראל עמך. Shalom, shalom, sim shalom, tova, uvracha, chen v'chesed v'rachamim aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael amecha. Sim shalom, tova, uvracha, chen v'chesed v'rachamim aleinu, ve'al Amen.